Kristen Aguirre live with us in studio this morning with a pretty cool project. She's showing us how to reuse old mason jars. Hey, Kristen.
Hey, I am here with Chris Taylor from reconsumedforyou.com, and he's going to show us a ton of different ways that we can reuse old mason jars that you have lying around your house. The first way is this really cool solar pump, right? But before we get there, Chris, can you tell me why mason jars?
Mason jars are something that everyone has access to. If not mason jars, you can use for some of these projects old spaghetti jars, old sauce jars. We've even got some coming up that will allow you to reuse like your old canned vegetable cans and turn them into something new, and they're cheap or free, and those are two things that have to meet my criteria in order for me to work with them.
And if you're anything like me, you are constantly saving all of your jars, hoping that there's going to be a project to come along with it, and now we finally have this project. So what are we doing first?
Well, our first project we're going to work with are solar lights. We're going to turn these into like a night light or an easy way to light up during that midnight snack. We leave ours in our kitchen. So you need a mason jar. We got lucky and found these with already with a hole in the lid, but of course you can use some great little tin snips or aviation snips. They cut super easy. Punch your own hole in the top of any jar with a metal lid. With just a flathead screwdriver and a hammer and a little bit of effort, you can get it through. So you're going to unscrew the lid, and once you've picked out your solar light at the store, we went around to a couple of different places and spent a lot of time unscrewing these to find out just how big they were and how easy they are to take apart. So you pop off the top, and for easeability, I've kind of taken this apart here ahead of time, but you've got two pieces, the solar top and then the rechargeable battery that's attached on the inside. And they're usually connected by just one small wire. Don't really need to worry about electrocution here, so long as, you're not putting it in your mouth. I think you'll be fine. So basically what we did is take these same aviation snips, they're really inexpensive, and chop them down to size. We took the two pieces and just really simply cut, and you see how easy that is. It took no effort. Trim it down, fit it in the mouth and the lid of the jar, and just make sure that you can see the light detector on the top, and we have one that we kind of lined up really nicely here. Super simple.
So great. So what you do, you said, is you leave them outside for a few hours, right? So they kind of get all the sun they need, and then you can go ahead and bring them into your kids' room and leave them there at night as a nightlight, right?
Absolutely, you can do it that way. You can use them on the patio, which I like because they're candles you don't really have to worry about. They light up, but you don't have to worry about if you decide to just kind of go inside and have your evening indoors. The easiest thing that we like to do, we leave them in our windowsill in the kitchen. We have frosted glass windows, and just allow the light to pour in, light up during the day, and then at night we just leave them sit right where they are, and they light our way to the fridge at night.
Perfect. So coming up later in the show, we're also going to have another light project. You can actually use these mason jars as an actual light. So we'll get more of that coming up later in the show.
We are learning new uses for old mason jars this morning. Kristen Aguirre is in studio with our friend Taylor. Hey, Kristen.
Hi, I am here with Chris Taylor from Reconsumed For You, and he is going to give us some insight on how we can reuse those old mason jars you have lying around your house. So what is our next project?
We've actually got two next projects, but what's great is they all start the same way. So we like that, simple, simple. So we're talking about taking and turning your mason jars or spaghetti sauce jars or whatever it might be with a metal lid into a really cute little lamp or a soap pump, and that's just as simple as putting a hole in the top and finding your parts that go inside. So the first thing we did is we picked out the jars we liked. I've got like a brand new one you can find at the store, or a really nice kind of older mason jar. It's super duper simple. Again, take the lid off like we did earlier in the project. You're going to put your screwdriver into the lid and give a little bit of muscle. That's going to give you a really nice little hole, and then with these great aviation snips, you're just going to take and trim a hole that's large enough for what you need. Again, super duper simple, it's not hard at all.
And we can get these at just the local hardware store or wherever.
I actually picked these up at Walmart.
Oh, okay.
But you can find them anywhere. I mean, it's super duper simple. So you just need to make sure the hole's the right size. For the soap pump, I took and cut the top, because I like to reuse, off of a hand sanitizer bottle, took the pump out, and stuck the innards through the hole. So you've got that bottom part in. And then, trim and fit, and then you've got your top to screw on. So
perfect.
Super simple, smack it on top, and You have a cute little jar for your
Definitely a
restroom
rustic feel. So if you're going for that rustic country feel.
And this one we thought was a little kind of, new and a little flashy with the silver, but it looks great if you put it in an old bottle.
And so the lamp, we do kind of the same thing?
Same idea, just follow your instructions in your lamp kit. You can pick this up at any hardware store too. And then we decided, we have a little sewing area in my home, obviously a little crafty. So we filled it with extra thread spools that we had laying around in the house. So.
All right,
we really
perfect.
liked it.
So we can use mason jars for lighting, and coming up later in the show, we're going to use how they can actually keep you organized.
Ways that you can repurpose those mason jars. Hey, Kristen.
Hi, yes, if you're anything like me, you are always looking for the next craft project, and this is my favorite segment we have so far with mason jars. We are repurposing them to keep you organized. So with me now is Chris Taylor from Reconsume For You to show us how we're going to do that.
Yes, super, super easy. I mean, it doesn't get any easier than this. So basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn mason jars into a great hanging storage option for maybe your kitchen for your utensils, restroom for your toothbrush and your toothpaste and combs, or kids' colored pencils. You can even do a hanging herb garden with what we're doing today in your kitchen. So we like that going into winter. I want fresh basil year round. So easy supplies, you're going to need to go to your hardware store and find hose clamps. You'll find these back in the plumbing section. For the smaller jars, if you're wanting to use maybe some old smaller containers, you can go to the auto parts store and find really, really tiny ones that you use for like hooking up your radiator and all that good stuff.
And these are really cheap too, right there.
Oh my gosh, like $1 a piece.
So cheap. Perfect.
The one thing you want to do is take your jar with you. You want to make sure that they fit. Okay. And they've got these great little screws on the side, so you want them to be a little big, and we'll tighten those down and show you why. So you're going to pick up some small screws, and this is what we're going to use to attach to an old board. Is what I found here for 29 cents in the scrap pile at the hardware store. It'd be really easy to take an old drawer face out of kitchen cabinet that maybe you got rid of, or an old piece of furniture.
And just paint it.
And paint it up, or take it, use it as it is. What we did, we kind of distressed it a little bit, and you can see we just achieved a really nice finish with some black spray paint and some sandpaper, so we really liked that, because ours is going in our bathroom for toothbrush, toothpaste, and combs and such. So super duper simple. You're going to take and mark out with a handy dandy tape measure where you want your jars to go. So then the next step is going to be taking and making sure those screws are just a little bit bigger than the grooves that you find in the back of these hose clamps. So you're just going to plop that guy down, take your screw, screw it in tight, and you'll make sure it's really nice and secure so you can kind of, pick it up, and you don't want anything falling down in the middle of the night. So once you've got them attached, just set your jars in, and you're basically going to take and tighten them down so that they're really nice and snug here. You just use a flathead screwdriver and tighten them down, and you're done.
And perfect, and we could put these anywhere, your kids' room, like you said, you're putting yours in the bathroom, kitchen, anywhere to keep you really organized.
Yes, and it's cheap, and for me, it was almost basically free except for the hose clamps and the whole 29 cents I paid for the board.
So this is what, under $5?
Under $5. And with this said, though, we had 4 projects today, but I've collected through viewing things like Pinterest and different blogs of friends, almost 50 different projects that you can do with mason jars, and most of them will probably cost you $5 or less. So visit my website, reconsumeforyou.com, or my Facebook page, Reconsumed For You, and click on the link, and you'll see all the fun projects you can do to keep you busy.
All right, so just like Chris said, if you're interested in any of his awesome projects, go to his website, reconsumeforyou.com.